So I understand for a while you've been wanting to learn about some of the fantastic lenses that we use in optometry. Well, today is your lucky day because I have a fantastic array of lenses to show you, as well as this lens thickness measuring device. So we have the scale here for measuring thickness in millimeters, and the teeth just there for the lens to go between. So those are the lens thickness measuring device we have. So I'm going to show you some single vision lenses now using my spectacles. So this is a single vision lens, single vision, which single visions correct either distance or near. And if you look closely, you can see a blue reflection, bluey purple reflection on the surface of the lens. Now this has a blue light control filter which may cut out some of the harmful blue light in the visual spectrum. And we're just going to take a thickness reading of the lens here. So centre thickness is 2 millimeters. A reading of 2 millimeters there. Okay, we have some more single vision lenses. Here is another single vision lens, and as you can see, this has a slight brown tint on the lens, which may help to reduce some of the glare for the patient and provide possibly a little bit of UV protection, but it is only a very mild tint. And the thickness of this particular lens is 2.2 millimeters. Another single vision lens is here. This is more tinted. We have a grey tint, which is quite dark. So this is a plastic single vision grey tinted lens with a central thickness of 1.8 millimeters. This lens is 1.8 millimeters thick in the centre. And we have another tinted single vision lens here with another grey tint. This lens, as we hold it under the light, has an anti-reflection coating because of the green glow from the light reflecting on it, which might be hard to see. Do you see a green reflection on the lens there? Can you see the green reflection? And the anti-reflection coating can help with reducing the glare. So those are the collection of single vision lenses. Okay, let's see what we have next. Okay. So we have a bifocal lens here. Can you see the bifocal there? This is a D-sec bifocal, which sits like so. And for presbyopic patients, they may want to consider a bifocal, such as this one, where we focus the distance in the upper section and the reading can be focused by the patient looking down the lens through the near segment. That is a D segment bifocal for distance and near correction in one lens. Bi as in two, bifocal. And I'm just going to take some measurements of this lens. So looking the centre of the distance section. Thickness reading of 2.2 millimeters, and measuring the thickest part of the bifocal on a D-sec would be towards the top. We have a thickness there of 2.8 millimeters, 2.8 millimeters on the upper part of the bifocal. So that is a clear, anti-reflected D-sec bifocal. Looking for the green glow of the anti-reflection coating. Next we have another D-sec bifocal, but this one has been tinted. So there is the near segment, and there is the distance portion of the lens. So the patient looks down to read up close, and there it is at the correct orientation, D-sec bifocal. Centre thickness of this lens is 3 millimeters, and the thickness is 3.2 millimeters at the upper bifocal zone. So have a little look at this lens, see what you think. Does the tint help reduce some glare and provide a little bit of protection from the sun? Next up we have a different type of bifocal. We have a round segment bifocal, obviously curved compared to the D segment. Same principle. The upper part corrects the distance zone. So above the bifocal is your distance, and then you have your reading area through the bifocal segment. Just looking at the lens under the light, you can see that there is no coating, no anti-reflection coating on the lens, but there are a few scratches on this particular lens. Let's have a little look. You see the bifocal and some of the scratches on the surface of the lens, but no green glow, so no anti-reflection coating there. Now on this bifocal, the thickest part will be at the bottom, being a round segment type. thickness reading at the bottom of the bifocal there is 4.2 millimeters. That's fairly thick. And the distance, centre thickness, is 3.8 millimeters. So we have a thicker bifocal near zone compared to the upper distance. That is the final bifocal lens there. Okay, and the third type of lens I want to show you today is not a single vision lens as it may appear. This looks like a single vision lens, but is actually a varifocal lens. A varifocal lens. So the single vision and the varifocal look very similar. Very similar. But without a visimeter, we can look at the engravings on the lens. And we can see two circles engraved on the lens. We have the manufacturer's logo on the lens or icon. We have a little dot here and a little fitting dot there, which just help with fitting the varifocal when the patient collects it from the practice. Let's give it another clean for you. The engravings may be a little bit difficult for you to see on the lens. And a varifocal works by correcting distance, intermediate and near vision all together. So with a varifocal you have a corridor of vision top to bottom, a corridor of vision, near is corrected towards the bottom, distance the upper part, as you look down towards the middle of the lens. This focuses your intermediate tasks, such as if you are reading music or using a computer. So that is a anti-reflected varifocal lens. So the power of the prescription is blended from top to bottom. And varifocals naturally have areas of distortion as the patient looks through them at the edges, with a corridor of vision running centrally. And the width of the corridor will vary depending on the type of varifocal that you use. So we can say goodbye to the varifocal lens now. Let's give it a final clean. Plastic material. Just before it goes, we'll take a thickness reading, centre of the lens, which is 3.4 millimeters. 3.4 millimeter thickness there. So those are the three lenses, single vision, bifocal and varifocals. You've seen some tints. Now I want to show you another bifocal lens in here. But this is an Uncut lens. It is a D28 bifocal, 1.5 refractive index. Distance power is planar, so 0. And the reading add power is +3. So there is your Uncut 50 segment bifocal, just there, and the laboratory will be able to glaze the lens, cut it down into the frame for your spectacles. So that is your planar distance portion of the lens. Looking down, you have a +3 powered bifocal segment. The centre of the uncut lens has a thickness of 2.2 millimeters. The bifocal thickest segment is 3 millimeters. So that is your uncut bifocal. 1.5 CR39 material, which is plastic. And we have another lens for you, a 1.5 CR39 anti-reflected lens. This is a uncut lens with a power range of +250 with a -125 cylinder. So there is the uncut single vision anti-reflected Columbia resin plastic lens. Thickness reading centrally is 3.8 millimeters. So a centre thickness of 3.8 millimeters there. Just to finish up, I want to show you some specialist glasses. We have these ultimate wraparound ultraviolet protecting visors, which may be used for patients who have had cataract surgery and are especially sensitive to the light once the cataract has been removed, or possibly for patients with macular degeneration. And this provides ultraviolet protection at the sides of the lenses and a little bit lower than conventional spectacles, and upper protection at the top there. A little bit uncomfortable, they serve a good purpose. Just looking at the thickness of those centrally in the right lens side, a thickness of 2.6 millimeters, 2.6. And finally, we have a pair of safety spectacles. It's brilliant if you're working in a hazardous environment with metal dust, wood particles flying about. These are likely a polycarbonate rather than plastic lens there. Planar powered, so no power. Provide side protection just there, just any foreign bodies coming at the edge. Fairly good distance protection. Sit fairly low there. And compared to plastic, polycarbonate is a little bit softer. So the polycarbonate lenses are more prone to scratches. So these have been well used. Looking at some of the lens surface scratches, just there. A little look at the lens surface. So those are the safety spectacles. And when we make you a pair of spectacles, we obviously need to take the correct measurements, such as pupillary distance, looking into this eye, into this eye, this eye, and then we can perform a refraction to check your prescription. Measuring the bifocal segment, just measure the distance that the segment is going to be sitting at. To this eye. Good. And I'm just going to measure the vertical palpebral aperture, 11 millimeters. For the right, 12 millimeters. Excellent. So this concludes your tour of some of the lenses today. I'm going to pop them away now, and I will see you again next time.